Today's live video is all about pricing your products. So if you are struggling at all getting the right price on your farm products, you don't know what to charge, you don't know how to charge, you don't know how to figure them, then you're in the right place, because that's what I'm talking about today. I get so many emails on this, as well as you see posts in our Profitable Farm Facebook group all the time on this subject. So I know it's something that every one of us struggles with at some point and wonders about, and then once you think you have your prices right, things go up in cost, or the value changes, or scarcity changes the way you need to think about it. So that's what we're going to address today. And if you want even more on this, we have a free course that we just finished up for you. So go ahead and click the link in here and get signed up for that free course. It's a 6-day course, and it's going to cover everything that you might be concerned about with pricing. There are a couple of spreadsheets in there to help you. All you have to do is punch in your own numbers, and then you'll get an idea of what you should charge for your product. One thing to remember is every town across the United States is different. So what works for me may not work for you, but hopefully these pricing spreadsheets in there are generic enough that you can figure out a good idea of what to charge. There's even a little instructional video to show you how to get those pricing sheets set up for yourself, but they're very easy. So sign up for the pricing course. And then let's get into today's topic. I'm just going to refresh my screen here so I can see your questions too. Feel free to ask questions as we go. I do have some questions from our audience already that I'm going to address. And the first one you may have seen in the group, if you're in there, it's from Laura Simmons, and she posted that she's not new to gardening, but she's new to marketing her products. And so she had a lady contact her, wanted a bulk order of 25 pounds of tomatoes, and just making sure I get everything right here. So her regular price is $3 a pound, but she gave her a 50-cent discount. And then the lady didn't show up on time, or the day she was supposed to, so of course she had to sell the tomatoes. Turned into kind of a hassle. Then she repicked the tomatoes, and then the lady questioned the price. So this is a common thing that I hear a lot, people comparing our farm product prices to grocery stores, wondering why they're more expensive. But the interesting thing on here that I really want to point out on Laura's post is what went on were like almost 60 comments, with many of you telling her to, not you, I don't want to say you, but many people telling her to be snarky and give negative comments, such as if you want the cruddy tomatoes at Walmart, then go there. And I want to warn you that that is a fast track to being out of business. If you deal with your customers that way, even brand new customers, you're going to get a bad reputation, you're going to give off bad vibes, you will be out of business really quickly. And how I know this is I communicate with hundreds and sometimes thousands of farmers every week, and I get the emails. I get people in our farm store from other farms. They come in and they will gladly pay double the cost for our product than another farm who was kind of treated them in a way that was snarky or mean or degrading because they didn't appreciate the price. So that's the first thing I want to say is, if your immediate reaction, which we all want to do, is to give a wise crack to someone who challenges your price, please don't do that. Do it in your head, but in person, you need to be really compassionate. So Laura, a couple things I want to say to you is you're brand new to farming. So this is good feedback for you that you don't have clear boundaries yet. Nobody does when they start their farm. So you're going to get those boundaries. You're going to start things like, sending out PayPal invoices for bulk orders before they pick up, so you'll save them. There are all kinds of things that you will learn to do to set boundaries so this doesn't happen. The other thing is, it's really good feedback that you don't have in place a way to educate your customers of why our products are more expensive, because they are for a lot of reasons. And you need to be compassionate about how you explain that. But if you have an article on your website, this epic article where you explain the difference and what makes yours so special, and you really focus on the value of your tomatoes, and it's very compassionate, as in you can choose, anyone can choose to buy tomatoes anywhere you want, and here are why people choose to buy our tomatoes at a higher cost. You can hand that article out to them, you can discuss it with them, you can direct them to your website by email, so that you're educating them in a very compassionate and positive way. What happens when you do that, because I see this all the time, is you have answered them in a compassionate way and they become your biggest champion. Now those people go out and they tell their friends things like, you've got to get to Laura's farm. I know her tomatoes are 3 times what they are at Walmart, but she's amazing. She's a wonderful person. Her tomatoes are amazing. They are great. They make me feel like I'm doing good in my community. And all of a sudden you've got hordes of customers from this one person because you dealt with her compassionately. So remember that in this private Facebook group, I really try to teach farm marketing from the heart, and that is not being snarky to your customers that challenge your price. The other part of that, and I'm talking fast because I have a lot of info I want to get in here, but the other part of that is you and I have sticker shock on a regular basis. And if you give someone a snarky comment for challenging your price, you are forgetting that you just had the same reaction to something else, probably very recently. I want to give you an example. I have 2 great examples. So my daughter is getting married in 2 weeks. Hey, Hayden, congratulations. It's almost here. And she's been wedding planning, and it better be all planned by now since it's happening in 2 weeks. But when we first started looking at things, she fell in love with this bouquet, a bridal bouquet, you know, like you hold when you walk down the aisle. She fell in love with it, and she got a price on it, and her and I, she's like, oh my God, Mom, it's $350. And we're like, you know, but she fell in love with it. We prioritized, we moved the budget around, and we got her the bouquet she fell in love with. I could have said, but I know better not to, but I could have said, wow, there's probably florists that'll do this for $100. Why does hers have to be $350? I could probably get it done by this florist at the grocery store for $50. Why is hers $3? I could have challenged her. And you know what? I know this lady would have very graciously responded and explained what makes her bouquet valued at $350 versus another one. And if she had given us a snarky comment, of course, we wouldn't shop with her. So be really careful and remember that you're in that position on a regular basis. Another example, because that just happened, and this other one, my friend is publishing a book. Well, as you know, I just published a book, right? And it's so cheap. It's $4.99 on Kindle and $8.99 if you get the book. It's affordable to every farmer because this message has to get out there. So my friend comes in my farm store and she's publishing a book. And so we're chatting about her book. It sounds really cool. And I was like, oh, I really want to get one. And she said, well, it's going to be $400. And inside, on the inside, because I've learned over the years how to contain it, you know, there's that sticker shock, like, wow, my book is $4.99 and hers is $400. And I could have, and the reason it's $400 is she's an artist. These are prints of all of 10 years worth of art that she's done in this project. The book is costing her $200 to print, and she's going to have a very limited targeted audience for this book. So now, if she had just got snarky with people who react that way when they hear the price of her book, she's not going to sell very many books. But the point I'm making with you is I have sticker shock on a regular basis outside of my farm because I understand my farm products are very expensive to produce. So if you remember that you regularly have sticker shock, it will help you remember to be compassionate to those people that think, why is your milk $24 a gallon when it's on sale for $2.49 at the grocery store? All right, so that's a big one for Laura. Boundaries, be compassionate, have an explanation you can hand to someone, and you will have customers for life. So as you've noticed me talking about Laura's question there, pricing has only a little bit of pricing has to do with the actual dollar amount. Pricing has so much more to do with how you relay the value of your product, which has to do 100% with communicating with your customers and listening with them to find out what the value is they're getting from your product. And our free course will help you with that. Yes, it will help you figure out the cost of your products, but it will also help you evolve, because if you don't develop your skills personally, your farm, you'll end up going out of business. You've got to grow and learn along with your farm. I grow and learn every single day. And if we want to be in business for the long run, we have to continue doing that. And the 6-day course will do that. So be sure to click and sign up for that. And then I'm going to answer some other questions. All right. So Christine Center. Hey, Christine is in Texas. She's one of our students, and she just started her farm. She says, once you calculate your costs, which we have that worksheet in our free course that'll help you calculate your costs and probably some costs you didn't think of, and a wage for you and your employees if you have any, she says. And yes, of course you need a wage, or why, you're not going to work this hard for free for very long. Do you add a margin to your price? If so, what's a typical margin? This is figured into our worksheet, and I multiply it by 1.2, so about 20%. So yes, that's the straight across answer. It's right in the spreadsheet. It calculates that for you. And what do you use for your labor? Christine asked. Wage, hour per enterprise, how much per hour? Well, I do an hourly wage, but I don't base, it'll help you figure up an hourly wage, but at the end of the day, you have to make a sustainable wage. I don't do minimum wage because you can't pay a mortgage, you can't pay land rental on minimum wage in our area. So the minimum viable wage where I live is $20 per hour. So I base it on that. Of course, I need to make a little more money because I got to pay other bills to do with the farm. I do the marketing, So my husband and we have a higher wage, and then some of our employees get paid $15 per hour. But nobody would work for me on our farm at minimum wage. I would not be able to find someone. So you kind of have to figure out what people will pay to do the job you're asking them to pay, if you can find them. And then, of course, you have to be able to pay your bills and all the costs, and have some left over at the end of the year for profit, for reinvestment, or taking care of those emergencies. So hopefully that helps you out with that. And again, all those are automatically calculated in the spreadsheet. And then she says, do you go into detail when explaining a price increase to customers? That is also on like day 4, 5, and 6 of the free course. So it explains in there in great detail how I deal with increasing the price to the customers. But I do not get into laying out the costs. Like, well, the milk is $24 a gallon because the jars I have to buy this many per year, the chemicals are this, the feed is this, the this is this. I don't get into that because that people don't understand if they're not farmers. They have no clue. They have no clue what it means that you got to get up at 5 a.m. to milk cows before the kids go to school, and then you're milking during dinner time, and there's got to be a higher value in there for that, because to find people to help you milk, when you can't. Sorry about that. I had a little phone call come through. So I do not ever get into explaining the details. I just, and again, this will be in the course, but I say things like, it is my responsibility to run a sustainable farm so I can be here to serve my customers. I've been here 8 years. There is nobody milking cows anymore that was here when I started 8 years ago. They're all out of business, most of them 7 years ago. So it is my obligation to price my products sustainably, and we figure in the costs and the fair wage, and I got to make sure I'm here to serve you and my other customers. So I never get into explaining that. And okay, so that was Christine's. Now Abby Ashley says, how do you price broilers? Do you pre-sell a portion? So again, go download so you'll get the worksheets that will help you price your broilers. Do you pre-sell a portion? I make sure every animal is sold before it ever goes to the butcher. So we get our chicks in May, an email goes out to our list. We do batches of 200. We're taking 200 chickens to the butcher tomorrow. They are all pre-sold except for the 10 I'm keeping for our family. They are all sold. They all have a $10 deposit, and then we weigh the chicken. It's ours happen to be $7 a pound, so they average like 35 pounds. I mean $35 minus the 10. They pay the balance of 25. So We send out an email with that PayPal link to pay the $10 deposit on as many chickens as they want. Then they come pick them up tomorrow fresh. We take orders on our beef and hogs too, so it's all paid ahead of time. When you get into storing meat, in our area at least, electricity is very expensive. Freezers are very expensive. They break down, power goes out, you have to have generators. There's a lot of cost involved in storing meat. So the most you can, as much as you can pre-sell meat before you sell it, even milk, flowers, vegetables, when you're a small farm, as much as you can do that, the more sustainable you will be. And then the last question, and if there's any questions you guys have too, be sure, I'm going to just refresh my Facebook page so I can see if there are any. Renee Corrigan says, we are at a loss about prices and how to market. We have 2 big CSAs in her county and she can't compete with them. They're way bigger than her little farm, and it seems she has to stay within their pricing structure to be able to sell meat, for example. She says she raises blackberries. She doesn't think they do. So Renee is looking at the dollar amount of her pricing, which again is important. But what's more important is what you'll learn in our email series. When you build relationship, we teach you how with your customers, they don't question your price. Not only do they not question it, they get out there and they tell everyone to go shop with you, and price is not an object. And I want to use another example from just everyday world. Let's take jeans, for example. You can go to you can go to Target and you can buy jeans, Walmart for, $40 a pair, right? You can go to Nordstrom's and you can get jeans for $400 a pair. And you can go to this designer and have some custom made to fit your body for $4,000 a pair, right? So we've got a huge range of jeans in there. And there are people who are going to value $4,000 a pair of jeans, and people will value $40 a pair of jeans. And it doesn't matter. Everyone has that choice. So when you take away and I'm not here to judge either. People can do whatever, they can choose how to spend their money however they want. When you take the inflammatory response that we often have out of it, and you just think, oh, it's just, different options for different people, then it becomes easier to price your product at a premium. Like our chickens are $7 a pound. Most other farms are about $4.50 a pound, and they're going out of business right and left. So the pricing is not the difference. So back to Renee, when you take the free email course and you learn on pricing your products, and you learn that the important things other than just the actual dollar amount, and you start doing those, it will not matter that you have 2 other CSAs around you that are at lower cost. People will come to you. You will be those $400 jeans that you will have your own little tribe of people that come to you. They have blinders on to those other CSAs. I see this all around us. There are very expensive CSAs, for example, and less expensive ones. And they all have their own little tribe that follows them. And that is up to you to build that relationship, which we teach you how you can totally do that. So I want to just start to wrap this up by saying, remember, pricing is very little about the dollar amount, much more about the things you'll learn if you take our 6-day free course. And the reason it's much more than I could pack into a little live video. So I want it written down for you. You will learn it's much more than the dollar amount. It is the boundaries you set, the education you do, the little technology things you have in place like PayPal tabs and taking deposits ahead of time. It's relationship building and it's consistent communication. When you do all of those things and you figure in all your costs, even the little things that a lot of us forget, which we've tried to list them all in the spreadsheet and I may even have missed a few, then you start to really get an idea of how to price your products, and you have that confidence that you need to charge the price with no apology. Explain the price by being, and still be compassionate that, you and I have sticker shock regularly on other things. So of course, people are going to have sticker shock on our farms, but when we're compassionate, that's okay. And when you do this, you will start to develop your strong customer base that supports you no matter what you charge, and price becomes no object. So, you know, so many examples of this I've given you out in the retail world, but our milk is $24 a gallon. And there are dairies, there was just another dairy last week went out of business, $12 a gallon, not too far from us. Happens all the time when people can't charge enough because they're not doing the personal work, the personal development work to be able to charge what they need to charge, they will be out of business. So I really want all of you to stay in business, serving those customers and your community you've built that needs you. I want you to be in business for the long run, not losing money every year, but actually making money. So hopefully a lot of these things will help you. We have so many free resources on our website. You can educate yourself on all these things free on our website. Of course, we have courses all over the place. I've got my book out there. So I'm just trying as much as possible to reach people and give you what you need, which is some dollar amounts, but also the confidence and the knowledge to help you. So if you have any more questions, I'll check on here, make sure we're good. Post them below this video because I'll keep an eye on it and come back and answer those. And be sure to get the pricing course to help you to help you make sure you are pricing your goods correctly. And we will be in touch and spread the word, guys. Would love forward the email we send out about the pricing course, but also tell people about this group. It's really nice to get a great group of people who enjoy practicing farm marketing from the heart. And because that's what it's going to take for us all to be sustainable for the long run. All right, have a super day. I hope you're enjoying this wonderful summer that we are finally having in Oregon too. All right, bye-bye.